If you're an expert in your field but struggling to get clients, it's probably not about skill. It's that you're not clear enough. You can be really good at what you do and still be completely unknown to the people you can help. If you're a coach, a consultant, therapist, or any kind of specialist practitioner, you have a lot of competition. That's true locally. In any town, there are coaches and therapists with all kinds of specialties. And it's even more true online, where the competition is obviously vast. You've put the work in and you've got the credentials, and maybe you've even got some clients already, but it feels like a constant grind to seek out people to work with and find opportunities for your new business. So whatever pond you're swimming in, standing out is the first challenge. And what I'm going to talk about in this video isn't about putting more effort in. It's about getting one thing clear first, so you don't spend weeks or months chasing the wrong things. Without it, every time you need a new client, you have to go out and find them. You have to send more outreach emails and post more content. For every opportunity, you start from scratch. And that works to a point, but it never really compounds into a system that works on your behalf. If that feels familiar, where you're constantly having to go out and find your next client, that's exactly the kind of thing I help people fix. There's a link below if you want to talk through your situation. Most people think the solution is posting more, marketing or advertising, and being more visible. And I am 100% behind visibility. I've built engaged online audiences on YouTube and Instagram to help people get clients. I've also written a book that gets recommended around the world. But visibility without clarity doesn't fix anything. If people don't have a clear picture of what you do, they won't remember you. And if they can't remember you, they can't recommend you. And just so I'm being clear, I help coaches and other solo specialist practitioners get more recognition for their work. If that's you, I hope you'll follow me. There's a step before visibility that a lot of people miss, and it's making some clear decisions about who you help and what you help them with. Call it a niche or a specialism or whatever you want. What it really means is being able to speak to the right people in a way that resonates with them. You want someone to see your offer and think, ooh, this feels like it was made specially for me. That is a completely different experience from how most of the content you see online hits. There's no shortage of experts sharing useful ideas, interesting thoughts and good advice, but most of it isn't anchored to a specific person or their specific problem. So even if it's good, it just sort of floats by and gets forgotten. You might agree with it and you might like it, but you forget it. I'm sure you can remember something you've watched, read, or listened to in the last year that really struck a chord with you, that described your experience so perfectly that it just sticks in your head. That's the difference. Because when your message is too broad, you might appeal to more people in theory, but in reality you don't connect with anyone on a deeper level. You blend into all the other generic advice and you become forgettable. But when your message is specific, created for a specific person, about their specific problem, in language they actually use, people understand you quickly, they remember you, and they start to associate you with a specific problem, or the solution to that problem ideally, and that's what makes you easy to recommend. Think about the last time you recommended someone or something to a friend. Recommendations happen in real conversations. Your friend says, I'm struggling with this thing, and you say, oh, you should speak to this person. They do X. That only happens if you are clearly associated with something. And when you think about it, you start noticing it everywhere. I live in a fairly big town in the UK. There are a lot of solo service providers here, but here are the ones I actually remember clearly off the top of my head. There's a physio who works with the local rugby team. He specialises in treating injuries from team sports. He deals with big burly men, and his branding is appropriately tailored towards men who play sport. There's also a personal trainer who works with women in their 60s, helping them stay mobile and active into their old age. And there's an executive coach who runs outdoor activity sessions. He goes out on hikes, bike rides and kayaking trips with his clients to get them out of their usual office environment. It's unique, different, and it filters for the right kinds of clients. All of them could help a much wider range of people, and they probably do. That personal trainer could get me in shape just as well as a woman in her 60s. But they've chosen to be known for something specific, and that's why they're memorable. And this applies everywhere. There are a lot of local artists near me. One has a little gallery full of nice paintings of the local landscape. Very skilled, but kind of boring. The only reason I know him is that he used to teach me art at school. Then there's another artist who I've never met, but he is a household name locally because he paints normal people in our town going about their business. Drinking in the pub, going to the football, playing crown green bowling in the park. They often have a funny in-joke in there too. In my humble opinion, he's not the most skilled artist, but he knows his audience and his audience knows him. People don't necessarily choose the most skilled person. They choose the one they understand or the one that understands them. If you're not clear about who you help and what you help them with, you might be doing great work, but no one can easily explain what you do, and that's the real problem. So if you want more opportunities, more clients, and more inbound leads, it doesn't start with visibility. It starts with getting very clear. When you get that part dialed in, everything else gets easier. Your whole strategy hangs off that clarity. Content is more focused and easier to create. Your messaging gets sharper and more targeted. And over time, you build a body of work that feels connected and is actually meaningful to a well-defined group of people. That's how you stand out, become known, and how you get chosen. Marketing and visibility are so important, but most of the effort we put into it is wasted if we don't get the first step right. What we're talking about here is recognition. You don't need 100,000 people to see what you do. You need the right people to understand it. So instead of asking, how do I become more visible? A better question is, what do I want to be known for? And when you figure that out, your work starts to connect on a much deeper level. Your name sticks in people's minds and opportunities start to come to you. And if you want help getting that clarity for your own work, there's a link below to book a short call with me. We can have a look at what you're doing now and figure out what you want to be known for. See you next time.